Okay. So for this is the task I want you to do for homework. All right. I have shared with you one, two, three, four videos. The first is minority literature. The second is identity politics. Is it dangerous? Why is it dangerous? The third is the politics of race in Britain and South Africa. And the fourth is the danger of a single story. I would like you to watch these four videos. That's the first thing. And I would like you to have some takeaways from each video, like from minority literature. What are some key takeaways here that you have gotten from this video? The same with the other three videos, and especially this final one by Chimamanda Adichie about a single story, the danger of a single story. I would like to start next week's class based on this task that I have assigned you, which means for today's class, I'm going to end the class here in terms of our content. So I will pick up the class next week, but you will start off by telling me what are some of the things you got from those four videos. And then we will proceed by looking at The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And we're going to compare that against Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. And I would like your perspectives of the two novels comparatively. Okay, so for instance, you may choose to use you may choose to use Chimamanda Adichie's speak talk on the danger of a single story, and you may use that to examine the difference between The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which captures the experience of the African American in the 21st century context, through narration, and you compare that against a bicultural, biracial Black person in South Africa, as seen from Trevor Noah's story. Or you may look at various elements of minority literature. In this lecture, you will get a lot of key terms, especially, for instance, the power to narrate. In order to be able to have a sense of control over your life and your story, you need to have the power to tell your story. All right. Instead of someone else telling your story, you get a chance to tell your story. So, for instance, the two novels that we looked at last week and Salim's presentation today, the Iraqis got their story told through the corpse washer, through Sinan Antun's story. Because if Sinan Antun and similar writers do not capture the stories of their own people, we have to rely on stories by outsiders, like Kevin Powers, the Yellowbirds, to have a visualization of what happens in Iraq because of the current war, by the outsiders. So being able to narrate your own story is important. So this lecture captures that, the idea of minority literature. There is also the polemic of double consciousness. Even though you capture your own story, you're constantly looking at yourself and your story from the lens of your own eyes as well as from the lens of the outsiders. So capturing your story sometimes may imply you having this state of double consciousness, right? So have a look at this video because I think it's very impactful and it's got lots of ideas. After you've watched these videos, take up a couple of the points and see how they can be used to study the two novels in question. All right. Any questions for today's discussion? Any questions? Do you understand the task that I'm assigning you?
Which means, Doctor, we have to finish read those two novels by next week, right? Because we are going to compare and contrast it.
That would also be your e-task 4 for your UKM Folio task, which is already up on UKM Folio. That's the 4th e-task. Yeah.
Doctor, for e-task 3, do we need to like upload our slides or for no?
No, whatever you have, but for e-task 3, just something simple, a little bit more, a summary of the comparison between the Yellowbird and the Corpse Washer, because last week's presentation is actually assignment 2. Right, so that one you upload as assignment 2. I've already recorded your marks for that one. But for e-task 3, just a simple summary that based on the tutorial task that you did 2 weeks ago, not last week, but the week before.
Okay.
Yeah. So next week you have 2 things you need to do. So I'm going to give you today to start on that. Watch the 4 videos, identify key takeaways from each of them, and use any one of those videos to facilitate your reading of these 2 novels. And that will be e-task number 4. Okay, any questions? Okay. Salim, did you have a question?
Yes, Doctor. The first I have the first novel, The Hate You Give, but the second novel, I don't have it.
Okay, I will send you a PDF copy.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. Anything else? Alice, are you okay?
So far, I'm okay. And I'm just start to read the Hate You Give, and I think I need to speed up. Yeah.
Please finish both novels by next week, and please have your respective readings or perspectives of those 2 novels. And then we will have like a book club discussion in class based on those 2 novels. Okay. So, Aimee, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
So if there's nothing else, I will stop class here. I will stop recording also.